This is Radio Taiwan International. Welcome to the news on Radio Taiwan International. I'm Michelle Chang coming to you from Taipei, Taiwan. We begin with a look at today's top stories for Friday, February 20th. Former South Korean President Yoon has been sentenced to life over his attempted insurrection. Foreign Minister Lin Chia-lung welcomes Japanese Foreign Minister Motegi's Taiwan Strait peace emphasis. And Utah State Senate unanimously passes a pro-Taiwan resolution. But first, today's top story. Former South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol was sentenced to life imprisonment for attempted insurrection on Thursday, February 19th. On Friday, he apologized to the public for causing social unrest, although he remained defiant about his verdict. In December 2024, Yoon declared martial law via a televised speech, claiming pro-North Korean anti-state forces lurked in the opposition parties. Although military units were dispatched to storm the National Assembly, citizen protests and extreme action by lawmakers, including essentially breaking back into the National Assembly building, prevented the action. Martial law was lifted after 6 hours and Yoon was removed from power 4 months later. In yesterday's ruling, Judge Ji Gyun said that Yoon showed no remorse for his actions, which Ji said were clearly aimed at paralyzing the National Assembly for a period of time and arresting political opponents. In a statement through his lawyer on Friday, Yoon apologized to the public for the frustration caused by declaring martial law. Quote, "The declaration of emergency martial law was a decision to save the nation, and I deeply apologize to the public for causing much frustration and hardship due to my shortcomings," end quote, the Chosun Daily reports. Yoon criticized the verdict as unacceptable but has not yet commented on whether he will appear. It is also unclear if he will be eligible for parole. However, most serving a life sentence in South Korea can apply after serving 20 years. He also expressed regret at the prosecution of military and police officials, saying the responsibility for the decision lay with him. Quote, "I, Yoon Suk-yeol, will take a moment to catch my breath in the trial of the square and bear all responsibility," end quote. The declaration of martial law so close to home sent shockwaves through Taiwan, a fellow young democracy with a history of martial law. President Lai Ching-te himself commented on this dark shared past shortly after the event, reminding Taiwanese citizens that Taiwan's own democracy was hard-won, and that, quote, "we must remember the lessons of history," end quote. Japanese Foreign Minister Toshimitsu Motegi held his first press conference after reappointment on Thursday, publicly emphasizing that peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait are extremely important. In response, Taiwan's foreign ministry issued a statement on Friday in which Foreign Minister Lin Chia-lung expressed welcome and affirmation while urging all countries to pay attention to the Taiwan Strait situation and take concrete actions to safeguard its security. The ministry noted that since the Takaichi cabinet took office in October 2025, Japan has repeatedly called on countries to pay attention to the Taiwan Strait issue at multiple key international occasions, including the 28th ASEAN Japan Summit, the 20th East Asia Summit, and the Japan-US Summit meeting. Additionally, during last November's Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, or APEC meeting, Japan expressed great concern over the Taiwan Strait and regional security directly to China in both leader-level and defense minister-level talks. Japan also voiced similar concerns during China's military exercises encircling Taiwan in December. The ministry stated that these actions underscore how Taiwan's Strait peace and stability are vital to Japan's prosperity, security, and the international community's shared interests. It welcomed ongoing cooperation among democratic nations to counter authoritarian expansion, urged active monitoring, and affirmed Taiwan's commitment to bolstering self-defense, societal resilience, and ties with like-minded partners. The Utah State Senate unanimously passed a pro-Taiwan resolution on Thursday, February 19th local time. San Francisco Taipei Economic and Cultural Office, or TECO, Director General David Wu witnessed the resolution, which supports deepening bilateral ties as well as Taiwan's participation in international organizations. Taiwan and Utah began a formal sister state relationship in 1980, pledging to enhance cooperation. Taiwan was the first country to enter a reciprocal driver's license program with the state, and the Mormon Church, based in Utah, has sent over 43,000 missionaries to Taiwan since the 1950s. Today, nearly 1,200 Taiwanese live in Utah. This year is the 47th anniversary of the State Senate's Taiwan Relations Act, which advocates for deeper ties in religious, economic, educational, and cultural fields, among others. The resolution also notes that Utah and Taiwan share many values, such as freedom, democracy, human rights, the rule of law, and a free market economy. The document also emphasizes support for Taiwan's meaningful participation in international organizations. The continuing resolution was passed unanimously by all attending senators and signed by State Senate President Stuart Adams. San Francisco TECO Director General Wu witnessed the event, thanking all those present on behalf of the Taiwanese government for their continued support of both Utah-Taiwan and Taiwan-U.S. partnerships. Low temperatures combined with moisture brought 2 waves of snow pellets to Hehuan-san on Friday morning, delighting Lunar New Year visitors who eagerly took photos. The Highway Bureau, or MOTC, stated that icy conditions could form on high-elevation sections of Taiwan Provincial Highway 14A overnight, prompting a precautionary road closure from Cuifeng to Daiyu Ridge starting at 5 p.m. According to the Central Weather Administration's website, snow pellets, a type of solid precipitation, appear as spherical or near-conical grains, lacking snow's crystalline structure and being more prone to breaking apart. Local Hehuan-san staff noted that snow pellets started falling at around 5 a.m. and 7 a.m., blanketing the ground with white frost near Songshui building and vehicles in the parking lot, prompting visitors to pull out their phones to capture the beautiful scenes. The MOTC's Central Region Maintenance Branch office issued a press release stating that, based on the latest weather data, overnight cold air and humidity raised the risk of ice on Highway 14A above 3,000 meters. For safety, the section from the 18-kilometer mark at Cuifeng to the 41.5-kilometer mark at Daiyu Ridge will implement precautionary closure measures from 5 p.m., allowing outbound traffic only. The office added that the winding, slippery stretch from the Wuling Mountain Pass at the 31.7-kilometer mark will be fully closed in both directions. It will reopen at 8 a.m. on Saturday, either fully or for snow-chain-equipped vehicles only, depending on weather and road conditions. Officials urged the public to check forecasts and road status ahead, carry snow chains, and drive cautiously. The Defense Ministry officially opened the Aerotropolis Museum's Runway 05 Threshold Security Zone on Friday, February 20th, welcoming visitors to learn more about Taiwan's deep military history. Located in Dayuan District, Taoyuan City, the museum is the revitalized former Taoyuan Air Base, featuring not only aircraft but also a creative market, activities, and performances. Runway 05 is an area including 4 restored aircraft hangars and staff rooms. Notably displayed are the last Lockheed F-104 starfighter aircraft to perform a mission in Taiwan, historical materials from Taoyuan Air Base, and special video exhibitions. Exhibitor Hu Ronghua explained that Taoyuan Air Base was established in 1944 during the Japanese occupation and used by the Japanese Army Air Force. After being taken over by the nationalist government, it was occupied by the 35th Reconnaissance Squadron of the Air Force in the 1960s, Hu said.
The entire Air Force's deployment, all the way to the museum's planning, is displayed throughout the exhibition areas. The currently open Runway 5 was only begun at the end of July 2025, and now everyone can learn that this military base is worth preserving.
During the 9-day Lunar New Year holiday, many people's first choice for the break was not to travel but to sleep in, to make up for the fatigue accumulated from early mornings and overtime work. However, endocrinologist Wang Luting says that this choice may actually make you feel more tired. Wang explains that international research defines a shift of more than 1.5 hours between the midpoint of sleep time between weekdays and weekends as social jet lag. For example, if you go to bed at midnight and wake up at 7 a.m. on a weekday, your sleep midpoint is 3:30 a.m. But if you go to bed at 2 a.m. and wake up at noon on a weekend, your sleep midpoint shifts to 7 a.m., creating a social time difference of 3.5 hours. She details the body's responses to the social jet lag, saying that
the first is a change in the gut microbiota, and the second is the inflammatory response. Even if you get enough sleep, if the timing is wrong, the number of harmful bacteria in your gut will increase. This time difference will also raise inflammation levels in the body, and if this state becomes chronic, you will feel tired and lack energy.
Wang stated that this sleep disturbance can also disrupt the central nervous system, dulling the brain's reward mechanism responsible for feelings of pleasure, leading to reward-seeking behaviors such as strong cravings for foods with higher sugar and fat content. She further pointed out that because men are more sensitive to hormonal changes, systemic chronic inflammation is more pronounced in men than in women. Furthermore, children and adolescents are more prone to the effects of social jet lag. Rest should not be about excessive sleeping, Wang said, instead suggesting 3 principles for catching up on sleep that won't harm your health. Keep your sleep midpoint time within 1.5 hours, stick to 20 to 30 minutes for afternoon naps, and gradually adjust your schedule 2 to 3 days before returning to work. This not only allows you to avoid feeling more tired, but also makes you less likely to experience post-holiday blues. Thanks for joining me for the news. I'm Michelle Chang. Stay tuned for another 50 minutes of English language features brought to you by Radio Taiwan International.